Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage. I'm Leslie Watkins and today is Paper Crafting Saturday. I hope you're well. I thought I would show you more of the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and bundle that comes with the dies, because I think it's such a great set to have because it's going to be really useful for so many different projects. And today I'm going to be showing you all the different ways you can use it with the stamping, cut and emboss machine. So let's get started. This is the stamp set, and it comes with, as a bundle, you can get them separately, but you can get the stamps, which are actually one giant stamp of 6 different butterflies. Okay, so that looks like that, and I've got this mounted up onto this great big clear block, and this block is the number F block, so you're going to want to have that if you use this set, because otherwise it would be very hard to get a good impression. And then it also has all of these dies that come as part of the bundle. So you have these filigree dies that I'm going to show you what all these things cut out in just a moment. But you've got 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to match all of these butterflies. Plus, you get this great big one, which cuts out all 6 in one go, which I love. And then you have some extra dies that you can use to punch out sort of windows in your cardstock to get different effects, plus these 2 cute little tiny butterflies. So I'm going to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do. Let me get organized here before we lose these things. So last time I showed you how you could print a big butterfly arrangement on your watercolor paper and then paint it with ink. And we cut it out with this die. So if you didn't see that video, you can go back and watch it again. And just to give you an idea of some of the things that I made by doing it that way, here are some of these beautiful butterflies. Now, this is an example of that filigree that you can cut out, and I think it goes with it. It's a little too small. Let's see which one this one goes with. There we go. So you see, you get something that looks like that. All right, but you can also use, here's the same filigree, this time using the Pearlescent paper. And I don't know if that's going to come up on camera. Let me see if I can move it under the lens here. This paper has a pearlescent quality to it. It's very, very smooth and sort of velvety feeling. And the pearlescence is on both sides. And it just has this incredible sheen to it, which really adds something so beautiful to this little butterfly. So I could see using the black or some darker color or some, any color that you like, cardstock, for this sort of effect, to have it tie into the rest of your project. But if you were doing something that was a little more delicate, that was maybe a little more monochromatic, I think this would be really pretty, and that's what I'm going to show you today. I may do some other things too, but let's get the Stampin' cut an embossed machine out first. So here we go. I'm going to have to zoom you out to get it on screen here. So these machines are composed of, let me close it up first so you can see what it looks when it's closed up. So there it is. That's the machine. Looks like this. Has a handle on one side and a handle on the top. Has these smooth feet that will help to hold it steady on the surface. And all you do is flip out these wings on either side, and that gives you a nice bed. And then you put these plates through it with whatever paper you're going to be working with, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And then you roll it through, and by doing that it applies tremendous pressure onto the bed here so that you can cut things out or emboss them. And I'm going to show you several different ways of using this machine today, because I really think that if you're going to get this fantastic stamp set, the Butterfly Brilliance, I think you kind of have to have the machine as well. You can just get the stamp set and stamp the butterflies and then cut them out by hand. Absolutely, not a problem. But there's so much more that you can do. For instance, those filigree stamps, it is possible to cut them by hand. I know there's an ancient Asian art of doing that very, very fine paper cutting, but I think most of us just want to get it done and get back to our project. So that's why these machines are so great. One of the other things that comes with this suite is this paper. So this is a pack of designer series paper, and these measure 6 by 6, and you get all these different colors and patterns. All right, and this is two-sided paper. And I think I'm going to use this one today. All right. And there's a tello saying hello. But what I want to show you is what you can do with this piece, which is use the die, and let's just go ahead and do it. So I may have to, let me see, do I have to trim this down? No, that'll fit. Okay, so I'm just putting my die in place over these butterflies. We still have a lot of snow here. It's a sunny day. It feels like spring may be coming soon, but we're all getting a little stir crazy, I have to admit. Cabin fever. Okay, so that's the simplest thing you can do to cut out butterflies, is just by using the pre-printed paper. And look at these beautiful butterflies that you get. Okay, and these pieces, these little partial butterflies, can be used as well. You can either cut this as a strip, or you can cut out these individual shapes and use them on the sides of your card. So let's put these aside for the minute. And I'm going to show you, hold on, let me remove our noisy guest. Okay. So then the other thing that I think is really fun to do with this is here is my Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And I can take my large stamp and I'm just going to ink that up. I'm going to put my paper on top of the stamp because I think it's a little bit easier to manage this way. And then I'm going to just take my bone folder and give that a little rub. Right, and that gives me this beautiful image which I can now paint with blenders, with ink, with watercolor, anything I like. So I'll give you a quick example. Let me just get my blenders out. Now the blender is an alcohol marker, so it's going to dry very fast. And just color it in. And this color that I'm using is the light Daffodil Delight. So there we go. I'll put a little color on his body as well. All right, and then I'm going to go back in. This is now the darker marker, and I think you'll be able to see a difference in the tonality. Okay, and then finally I'm going to grab a pumpkin pie. This is the dark pumpkin pie. The markers have 2 points. One is a brush tip and one is a fine tip. I'm using the brush tip. And then I'm going to go back in with my Daffodil Delight and just blend that to make a nice smooth transition. And I think what I want to do is just get a little darker here. There we go. So you can color one of these butterflies just that easily with a couple of blender pens. I'm just going back to get some of these markings. There we go. So there's the blender. Now I'm going to, let me get my inks out. This is our water-based inks. These are the re-inkers that are used to refill the stamp pads. And I'm just going to take a couple of drops of yellow. This is, again, Daffodil Delight. And then I've got some red and some blue in here already. So this is one of the water painters. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit of yellow. Just wash that. Oh, I've got a little piece of paper there. Get that paper up. There we go. I'm just washing the ink over the surface, keeping it very light to begin with because these inks are so strong. There we go. And the same thing. And I'm just going to indicate some of these beautiful patterns on the butterflies. The butterflies are so nicely drawn in this set that I did begin to look up some of the individual names of some of these butterflies, but I haven't found them all yet. Okay, so there's an example of the butterflies two other ways. While we're at it, let's do a different colored one. So I'm just taking, I think this looks like Pretty Peacock to me, but it could be a mixture. People are always asking me what color inks am I using, and by the time I finish mixing all the colors together, I have no idea. So you just have to experiment. Just use whatever colors you like and whatever work with your project, and you'll be fine. I do recommend a red, yellow, and blue so that you can mix them together to get your secondary colors. But, you know, that's not a rule. You do whatever you need for your project. I have a wonderful class coming up later this month using this stamp set, and I'm going to show you how you can make 4 different pop-up cards, and when we make those cards you'll be able to decorate them with the butterflies and other embellishments. And you can find more information about that class on my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com. And all you need to do is subscribe to notes from Dandelion Cottage, and I will be able to send you information about all of the upcoming classes I have in March, and there are actually quite a few of them this month, so you want to go check that out. All right, and then let's make a kind of a little pink one. And let's see, what color is this? All right, so this looks like a darker blue. So maybe, let's see what it looks like in the middle here. Yeah, so I think this is Night of Navy. And don't forget that the color is going to change slightly as it mixes with the ink that you stamped with, because all of these inks are water soluble, so they're going to blend together. All right, so we're getting a kind of a rainbow of butterflies here. And then I think this little one will just do a pale yellow. Now the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machines are $120, and I know that that could be a big investment to begin with, but they are incredibly well made. I mean, they should last a lifetime, and should anything ever go wrong, the customer service at Stampin' Up! Is superb, and I'm sure that they will make it right for you. But to be honest, I have never heard of any issues with the machines. And there are a number of plates that you can get with them. There's going to be a new magnetic plate released. I'm using one of the older ones and it works just fine. And that just helps to keep the dies in place as you're rolling it through the machine. But one way that you can save money is by getting one of the machines in your starter kit. So if you think that you might like to follow along with more of these projects that I'm bringing you every week, I'm going to add a little ink to my blenders over here just to give that body a little more darkness. You can join my team, and when you join, you get a ton of benefits, including a 20% discount on paper crafting projects. You get a free monthly class from me. You get to come to the team meetings where we talk about all sorts of creative ideas and business tips for the people that are interested in presenting classes and having a small business. Here we go. But best of all, I think, is that 20% discount that you get on future purchases. So when you join, you get what we call a starter kit. And what I was thinking is that if you wanted to save money on the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, you could get that in your starter kit and something else for another $5, say the linen thread or I don't know, an embellishment like the rhinestones or the pearls. That would give you your $125 total amount that you would then only pay $99 for. So right off the bat, you would save $26 and you would get free shipping. So these machines are pretty heavy. So I'm not sure exactly what the shipping charges are, but that would be free. And all of the other benefits. Now where'd my, here it is. Okay, so I want to be careful about getting this lined up, because when I have this camera over my head, it's a little bit hard for me to see. So give me a minute to get these where I want them. What I'm doing is I'm lining up the antenna of the butterflies. And if I get those lined up, I think everything else will be in place. So now I'm just going to run these through. And there they are, and they're beautiful, just gorgeous. All right, so I want to show you one more, actually two more things. So here are our butterflies. So another thing that you can do with the machine is something called embossing. And what that means is we're going to raise up certain areas of the cardstock to create a kind of a textured effect. And there are several different kinds of embossing folders. Let me get this out for a minute. Get myself organized. Okay, so one of the folders is called a 3D embossing folder, and it looks something like this. All right, so it comes in a package, and it's just a little rectangle. It's kind of it's very heavy duty, very thick, stiff plastic, and it's hinged on one side. And I just want to get a piece of cardstock out to show you what I'm going to do. This is called Mossy Meadow, and I want to see if I can make something that resembles moss. So I'm using my spritzer, and I'm just going to spritz this off to the side very lightly. I'm just misting it. And I did that on both sides of the cardstock. And now I'm just going to slip this into my folder, just like so. Okay, and then let me find my plates. I need to get plate number 4, so hang on while I find that. Alright, so I'm taking the first plate, I'm adding my embossing folder, making sure that the hinge side is going through the machine first, and I just want to get this lined up in there. And then I'm putting plate number 4, and all these plates come with the machine. I'm just going to pass that through. And that gives me this wonderful textured surface, and I think it really does look like moss. So I'm very happy with that. That's the effect that I wanted to get. Okay, so I'm going to take the edges of my cardstock and just run the blade of my snips. I want to give that a kind of a mossy, rough look. I'm going both ways. And actually what I think I want to do is I want to tear off the corners so it looks more like a mossy shape. There we go. Get that point off of there. Okay. All right, so now okay, so there's my roughed up textured piece of cardstock, and I just want to point out that you wouldn't be able to do this with any old paper, okay? This paper is designed specifically to be able to take a lot of technique, to be able to make nice creases without cracking, and it's all acid-free, so it's going to last a long time. And the colors that are available are just beautiful. There's 4 different color families. There are the brights, the regals, the subtles, and the neutrals. And they just all work beautifully together. Just want to take this little more off of this one. There we go. Okay, so there's my faux moss. Now, I just want to show you, this is an example of an explosion box. This is one that I did some time ago. And what I want to do is, I'm just going to turn it over just to give you an idea, is I want to create a decoration for the lid of the box. The boxes measure 4 by 4 by 4. And what I want to do is I want to create like a mossy pad that the butterfly can land on. All right, I'll show you. The inside of this box actually has this beautiful 3D flower with another little box that you can put your gift in. You can see how to make these boxes in my box making workshop. So let's get back to this one. I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow stamp pad and I'm looking for a Mossy Meadow sponge. I know I have one. I just dropped it. Okay, here we go. And all I'm going to do is just add a little more on the edges, and also I'm going to rub it across the top just to help heighten that effect of the texture of the moss. Okay, so it's starting to look a little more natural. And there are many, many, many different embossing folders that you can get to go with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So you can get ones that look like wood grain, you can get tin tile patterns, you can get just, you know, all sorts of geometric shapes, and there are always new ones. So this is a great way to get a lot of texture onto your cards and projects, and I really love it. The other thing that you can do that was one of the things that made me want to get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine right from the very beginning was you can cut out patterns for tea light. So you can make a box and then put your one of those little battery operated tea lights on the inside of the box, and you can have the light sparkle out from all of the beautiful patterns on the sides of the box. So you can have a lot of fun with these things. Okay, so now what I need is a base. And because my box is 4 by 4, I'm going to cut this a tiny bit smaller. So this is the So Saffron, and I'm going to cut this at 3 7/8 square. Okay, and that's going to be my base. So that's just going to be the layer that fits on top of the box like that. And I'm going to adhere my mossy bit to the lid like so. Alright, so now that I have my mossy pad here, I can begin to start building my butterflies. But before we do that, I want to show you one last thing with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and this particular die set, because this is, I think, really beautiful. So I'm getting my cutting plates back out, and this time I'm going to go back to that pearlescent paper. I think you can get a little bit. You see that magnificent sheen? It's almost like satin. It's almost like satin, and it just feels so beautiful. So I'm going to put a piece of that in here, and now I'm going to get those filigree dies. And I'm just going to cut out a bunch of these. I'm not sure how many I'll use, but whatever's left over will go into the box. Now I see I've got a little piece of paper in there from the last time, so I just want to poke that out. There we go. Where's my other poker tool? There it is. Okay, so if you just have your piercing tool, you can just poke out any little bits of paper that might still be lodged in there. They pop right out. There we go. These look good. And let me see if I can fit one more. There we go. Now this piece of the pearlescent paper that I cut out measures 5 by 6. And that fits through the machine perfectly. Now let me get my top plate. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to put this to the side for the minute because I have some already cut out. So there they are. Okay, so there's my 3 butterflies. Let me zoom you in so you can see a little better. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, put that on the center. Let me just fold this up a little bit first. There we go. And then place that right over top. I'm just holding that in place for a moment to let that glue set. Hold that. last one. And I love the soft quality that these pearlescent overlays give the butterflies. So it's a very different look than the ones I showed you last time with all the bright colors and the sparkle. This is just a very kind of a subtle, kind of an opulent effect. This would be beautiful for a wedding invitation. It'd be nice for a baby shower. And all these beautiful little cutouts are going to provide all sorts of wonderful shadow effects when the light passes through. So there are the butterflies. Let's get our top back out again. And we can just arrange them on here. And you can always leave room for a sentiment. But there is one idea that you can use. Let me get my box back. So this is one way that you could possibly decorate the lid of a box. Come on out. There you go. All right. So I think that should give you some ideas, and then of course you can always put some embellishments, some gems or some rhinestones in there. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you today. I just a sort of a technique video on some of the ways that you can use the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, and especially when paired with the Stamp and Emboss machine. Okay, because it just opens an entire world of decorating possibilities that I think is really exciting. I'm going to be using this set a lot this month. I have a workshop called the Butterfly Brilliance. Actually, I think it's called a class. And in that there's going to be 2 classes in one. So I'm going to show you how to paint the butterflies to get these beautiful effects. Okay, you can use both watercolor or the water-based inks. And then there's going to be a second class which is going to show you 4 different pop-up cards that you can make using these wonderful butterflies. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. There is information on my website about how you can sign up for the Butterfly Brilliance class, and also how to join my team. So if you'd like to take advantage of that great deal and get the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine for a much lower price and free shipping, I really think that's the way to go. But if you have any questions, if you need any help, just send me an email, call me, whatever works best for you. So stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.